So let's take a look at research step B, understanding and using sources for discovery. It's very important that you understand how to use, locate, and evaluate quality sources, not just for this paper, but for any paper that you approach. This step contains multiple parts, so we will go through them in order. We want to start with finding and evaluating library and internet sources. So I do understand that the steps in this piece are similar. However, each have their own distinct nuances. So first you want to locate 5 sources on a topic. You want to find academic or professional journal articles, mainstream magazine articles, newspaper articles, and maybe 2 websites that you would consider valid for your topic. You want to print or copy each article in its entirety. If you're in an online course, this is not going to be for my benefit. You can do that for your own to ensure that you have copies of those. In my case, I need you to add the link. If you're using website sources, I need you to add those into your works cited along with your normal citation. And next, you want to look closely at what organization built the site or which organization is responsible for the print source. What the main purpose of the source is it a general information article? Is it a frequently asked questions, a field journal, scholarly, historical, monograph? And the rhetorical techniques used in the presentation of the material, the layout, the format, the information, or the links, what we looked at in the text in action paper. And again, it's very important to look closely at these organizations and who built the site. If you don't know this and you can't locate this information, whether it's a site or a source, it may not be the best source to use, simply because if you don't know where the information is coming from, you can't evaluate its credibility, you can't know if there's bias or slant to it, and there's just so many unknowns that it may not be the best idea to use it. So underneath each source, you want to write a paragraph evaluating it. Include your opinions on the source's publication date, the author's credibility or reputation, the type of source, possible bias in the source, and readability. So what difference does it make about a publication date? Well, if you're writing about social media and you're using information from 2005, granted that's not that long ago. However, so much has changed that unless you're doing something where it's talking about the history of it, it's completely irrelevant to today's use of social media. Next, you want to write an MLA works cited entry for each source. And then you want to attach a copy of each source. So again, in an online class, please after your MLA source, just add the website so that I can click the link. So next you move to the exploratory narrative. As you're working through your source material, an exploratory narrative will allow you to detail your thought process about the topic once you research it. So in step A, you've chosen your topic, and then in the earlier part of step B, you found sources. And once you found those sources, you do need to find additional sources to ensure that you're using primarily academic resources. To explore your topic in a narrative fashion, you want to start by explaining why you're interested in the topic. What's important about it? Why is it significant to the world? And what are you hoping to find as you do research? With each source, you should go ahead and write a well-developed summary that clearly states the name of the source, its author, and other publication context, which is something we've already explored with one of our mini workshops. Within those paragraphs, write a response to that source that analyzes how the source shaped your thinking and how you might use it for your paper. You can also use evidence in the form of quotations. For example, if you thought one way about a topic and this altered your view, how so? Or did it reinforce your already held belief? How do you plan on bringing it in your paper? And then the essay should have a conclusion that indicates where you are at the end of the process. And you want to complete a full works cited page using correct citations at the end. So this is part 2. So for the last part, you want to develop an annotated bibliography. An annotated bibliography will help you further explore your sources and will allow you to create a resource for others interested in your topic. So you can use 4 of the sources you've already located, and at the top of your assignment, you want to start off with the tentative thesis statement or the question guiding your research. So here again, if you do put a thesis statement, and I will say this in general about thesis statements, what you start with thesis statement wise should never really be what you end with exactly. As you do research, your reading, and as you're synthesizing what you're reading along with your own information and your own beliefs, at that point you should be altering and shifting this thesis statement to be more specific and to narrow down specifically in what you're talking about. So for each entry, you want to properly format a citation for your source. You want to give a paragraph that summarizes the source and details key information used to support the author's argument. This is for your benefit mainly. When you're trying to juggle multiple sources, you might know, oh my gosh, I remember this source had this great topic about XYZ. Which one was it? And if you have an annotated bibliography with that kind of information in it, it's easy to jump right back to it and know, because that's what your annotated bibliography will have. It will have those things that you know you want to come back to. And then a paragraph explaining how the source relates to your topic, how you plan to use the source in your paper. So there again, as I said before, you want to use it to say, I want to use this to help make an argument on why this is the best possible thing. So there you have the 3 separate parts for Research Step B. I know that they seem very similar when you read through, but as you can see, there are very clear distinctions and different ways to use each of those methods for research. If you have any questions, please let me know.